everybody. It's Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing good. We're halfway through the week now, and I'm looking forward for my weekends. So this week's and the past few weeks have been one incredible roller coaster ride. But this roller coaster is going straight down. And it's crazy how the numbers are just crashing. It's staggering what's happening right now. The market is taking a big hit. People losing money in their 401k. People are looking at Wall Street and they're saying, what the heck is going on? And the Dow trading, S&P 500. When you see all these things happening, believe me, I'm not thinking about the price of eggs. What we're experiencing right now, is bigger than a bunch of price of eggs. I know how people see eggs as a staple in a diet. I'm one of those people, but believe me, I'm not thinking about eggs at all. I'm thinking about my current state and my future. Okay, my future. And currently, what I'm seeing is this. People are just trying to understand how things can be this way so quickly. And from what I understand, the tariffs have not even taken effect yet. It's like you hear about the tariff going to be implemented March 5th or March 6th or whatever it is. And then Trump changes the date. He gives the countries a break, so he pulls back the tariffs. And then he says, I'm going to implement the tariffs. Or he's going to give the automotive industry a break so they don't get hit too hard. And then he says, okay, we're going to attack Canada with the tariffs. Then he pulls back. Then he's going to increase China's tariff from 20% to 30%. Then he pulls back. Just from going back and forth and changing your mind and deciding what you're going to do to who is making the market very unstable. People don't know where things are going to go. And the corporations don't know what's happening. So the market is kind of volatile. It's kind of really shaky. We're on like loose grounds. So it's all over the place. I did look at my 401k last week. I think I'm going to take another look at it this week. It might be a good idea for me to scale back on my contributions, really, to tell you the truth. And then keep an eye out on the market and then go back and invest more money on it. Or maybe reinstate the same amount that I reduced it by. So I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers and to those people just checking out my channel for the first time. If you guys see something that resonates with you, or maybe a story or something I'm talking about, then please consider unsubscribing. If you do, hit that subscribe key twice and hit the bell. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. I'll be right back with more.
I'm not suggesting anything so complicated.
Lately, I've been watching Donald Trump and Elon Musk at the White House, and it seems to me like Donald Trump is trying to salvage Tesla from taking a nosedive. In European countries, all of sales of Tesla vehicles have just about slowed down to a halt. We have dealerships in France that were torched. Cars out in the parking lot were all burned down to the crisp. And we have that going on in other northeastern countries as well, around the Boston area and New York and all that stuff. People are just taking their frustrations off and their anger on Tesla vehicles. And people are just fed up. How can this mogul of Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter all of a sudden during the presidential campaign decide to jump on the campaign bandwagon with Donald Trump? I'm scratching my head, but I'm not the only one. A lot of politicians, a lot of economists, even other billionaires like Bill Gates is saying, I can't believe he's doing what he's doing, because quite frankly, Elon Musk doesn't need Donald Trump. I don't think Elon Musk needs Donald Trump. I call him Trunk. I might as well call him a trunk. He looks like a trunk. But anyway, I don't think he needs Donald Trump for the same reason that before he got involved with Donald Trump and his administration and Doge, which is a relatively new department in government, was doing quite well. He was doing quite well. He was already at $400 billion plus. And that tells me he's not doing it immediately for the short term of making billions, even though he is. It's said that he's making about $8 million a day just on the contracts alone for Tesla contracts or the vehicles. $8 million a day is what he's getting in contract deals. So to me, it's not like a short-term thing that he wants to make billions quickly. But I think the advantage that he could have saw, this is my opinion, that he could have saw was if he did get involved with Donald Trump and his administration, and also heading of Doges, he can go into those departments that they're firing people or reducing the staff to control all the oversights of corporations and the legalities, okay? If they remove the policing of how companies run their businesses, then guess what? Then companies will have it their way. And this means that Elon Musk, by disengaging or disconnecting with these oversight or police agencies that watch companies, how they operate, and stuff like that, that means that they can get away with murder, because there's nobody watching them with what they're doing. That if there's any regulations right now that's being imposed in big companies like Tesla, General Motors, General Electric, any companies that are regulating how business are run, that could harm our environment, okay, or that will take advantage of financial stuff or loans, or for example, Elon Musk's rockets, when they explode, when they're in mid-flight and then the debris comes back down, well, guess what? That's very dangerous when that happens, because if they have airlines flying from every state, from in the country and back out the country, when they're taking off or they're landing or they're just in cruise mode, then these debris can actually hit the planes and cause problems. Not only that, but who knows where the debris is going to crash or land? Are they going to land where there's a lot of population of people and vehicles traveling? Are they going to hit schools or hospitals? So I heard something about how Elon Musk was being held accountable for these things happening. Well, guess what? If he goes into Doge, into one of these agencies that regulates how companies are supposed to be run, and also those agencies that have oversight, and also the courts of the judges, or, for example, our environment protection agencies, they can actually fine Elon Musk on these things? Well, if Elon Musk has control in Doge to go in and disconnect from these charges or obligations or responsibilities, then there's no way that he can be held accountable. As a matter of fact, when he was being fined and was sequestered or asked to go before Congress to testify on these accusations, he happened to fire those people who are in control of those agencies that do that. Okay? So that's one of the things that's been happening, and these are the benefits of him being in control of Doge. Okay? So right now, what I see happening is that Fox News is coming to his rescue, and they're really, really struggling with trying to keep the Republicans, Trump and Elon Musk. They're trying to help them to continue to look sane because they're losing their minds. All these things happening. You got 11 planes that crashed. Okay, you got Elon Musk's rocket that's crashed, and the debris are spraying down in our cities. Okay, we have the public. We have Republicans and Democrat citizens right now that are protesting in 50 states. They're assembling in town halls, Republican town halls. Republicans, for the first time, turning against Elon Musk, and they're turning against Trump because these things I'm discussing are not what they voted for, guys. I didn't vote for all this stuff, okay? But it's happening to me, to you, to your friends, to your family, to your children, and your future. So this is what's happening right now. You have Democrats who warned against this from happening way before Donald Trump was voted in. They said, if you voted for him, this is what's going to happen. And sure enough, this is what we're seeing happen. We're dealing with over 7,000 people, namely vets, 30% of veterans who were fired and released from their government positions where they worked. These were highly experienced employees of the government who some have 20, 30, 40 years doing the job that they love, were just let go for no reasons, which, legally is illegal, okay? There's no basis for this.
Nobody talks about the soldiers that are coming back with no arms and no legs. And I saw at Mar-a-Lago on Mondays, I make Mar-a-Lago my club that you know about.
In Palm Beach.
I make that twice now. On a Monday, I let returning Iraqi injured soldiers come to the premises. The most beautiful people I've ever seen, but they're missing arms and legs. They're with their wives. Sometimes they're with their girlfriends, and the tears are coming down the faces.
Okay. And you have, like I said earlier, the markets are tanking, they're crashing. Our economy has not ever been this low with a president in less than 100 days in office. He's only been in office for about 60 days, less than 60 days. I think he's in his 6th week, and look at what's happening. And yet, and still, he's blaming Joe Biden for this. Can you believe this guy? His first week in office, or second week, a plane crashes. He blames DEI. He says this is what we were left with to clean up. This is Biden. Even though Joe Biden has been president for 4 years, and within that 4 years, there were no plane crashes. He held our economy together very well, despite the challenges that he was facing with his slow talking, his slurred speeches, and his memory struggling to keep up with what he's talking at presidential speeches,
Can anyone hear
that tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy.
You see that little head shaking no, sitting there behind the president?
And now he's out of office and he's still taking the blame for all this stuff. I think that's very pity. I think Donald Trump should stand up and take the responsibility, but he's not. He's not the type of guy to take responsibility for all this. Instead, he points fingers, you know. And then we have his cabinet that is illegitimate, okay? Inexperienced people running high offices like the Department of Defense, the Department of Health. Oh, by the way, he's thinking about closing the Department of Education. And we have positions like the Secretary of State, and we have people there who are not qualified for the position that they were given. So we have unqualified people in this whole cabinet that don't know what they're doing. And to make it worse, we have disputes going on in his cabinet, Marco Rubio and Elon Musk. If that's not a sign that our government is teeter-tottering and everything is just crashing around him, and Donald Trump is struggling. He's getting to a point where he doesn't even want to talk with the press. The only press he's going to have is going to be mostly Fox, okay? Some liberal press teams, okay, are not allowed to talk to him. When they ask him a question, that's a good question regarding our economy and our markets, he just calls them stupid. He says, you got to be stupid to ask me that question.
The press is very dishonest. I think a lot of the press is really, really dishonest. But I think that I've been totally... you see, most people think I get great publicity. I happen to think I get terrible publicity. So, you know, what can I say?
Do you mind what people write about you?
I used to mind much
say
more.
about you.
I used to mind much more. The one thing I have learned, it's a one-week phenomenon. It doesn't matter.
When he's cornered with a question, he flips it and he tells them that America is going to make billions. America is going to straighten up and it's going to make billions, going to create a lot of manufacturing jobs coming back to our country, and people are going to be happy. It's going to be a beautiful country. We're creating jobs. The market has never been how it's been, but he's saying that it's good. But when we look at it, we can say something like, yeah, you're right. The country has never been like it's been, wrecked, broken, crashing, falling on our faces, and our European nations are all laughing at us. So going back to my topic, I was talking about how I feel that Donald Trump is trying to lift up Elon Musk because his companies are taking a hit, all his three companies. SpaceX is taking a hit. Twitter is taking a hit. Twitter was ransacked by cyber attacks over the weekend. His Tesla car dealerships and sales has gone down to 25% in Europe. And it's happening here too. And I've seen Fox Network News trying to lift up Tesla and also Donald Trump. This is the best president we've ever had in 10 years, they say. Totally ridiculous. And Trump is just full of fake promises and fake news interviews he's doing. And quite frankly, I think Fox News is so embarrassed that they cut off the segments quickly because they don't want him talking about our economy, because our economy is not good.
Just so thrilled to be here with Vice Chair Ted Lieu and putting this conference together, and of course Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark, and Assistant Leader Nagoose. We could not do this without the support of the Democratic leadership team, and we feel all that support throughout our time here. In the first 7 weeks of the Trump administration, we have seen nothing but chaos, confusion, and corruption coming out of the White House. House Republicans have either stayed silent as their constituents get hurt, or are voting to rip away health care for millions of Americans to pay for tax giveaways for billionaires. House Democrats have been united in standing up for Medicaid to keep health care more affordable. House Democrats have been united in honoring our veterans who have fallen victim to Elon Musk's reckless cuts at the VA healthcare system. We've been united in protecting Social Security, even as the President of the United States used his joint address to lay out the groundwork for cutting these benefits by lying to our country about the claims of 100-year-old beneficiaries. And all of us remain united in our overarching message to make Leader Jeffries, Speaker Jeffries, no later than next year. We're going to talk about all of this over the course of the next few days, and we're going to put the needs of the American people front and center in everything that we do. The economy that House Democrats helped build is in a freefall. In 2026, we need a Democratic House to protect the American people from the costly missteps of the Trump administration.
When Donald Trump was on his campaign, he promised to have the war between Ukraine and Russia ended in 24 hours. In 24 hours, he says he's going to get them in a room and it's going to be done. Well, that was bullshit. I knew that from the get-go. I didn't have to wait for him to win the election to know that. He's been bullshitting and lying right from the get-go, beginning with his first term and right now. He's running it the same way, except right now he's more violent. This time it seems like they have a plan, but it's not a plan to construct our country or build our country, create jobs and improve our healthcare system, improve Social Security, help out with the homeless, with education. No, he's attacked those things that make us a great nation and a great country, and to strengthen us where we can get more respect from our allies, from other countries, and Canada as well. He's making the very people that supported him, those Republicans and those MAGA Republican supporters, he's attacking them. Many employees, government employees that he fired were Republicans. You can see them at the town halls complaining that their lives took a turn that they weren't expecting. They didn't think that Donald Trump was going to do this to them. But it's not just them. Venezuelans, 350,000 Venezuelans in Florida their lives were turned upside down when he started sending them back to their countries, even if they had the proper documentation that they were citizens, right? And all those people that came here on work visas from Mexico, send them all back to Mexico. They were here to support their families back home in Mexico. They can't do that anymore. So it's just crazy. But if you ask me, this is what I got to say. What I got to say is, this has been their plan all along, to gut our country, to flip it inside out. Like you take off the shirt and you flip it inside out. That's what they're doing in our country. They're flipping our country inside out. Okay? And when they do that, you can see the seams ripping up. Project 2025, horrible thing. So it's just crazy. But what I want to say is this also. venting in a video like this, whether you have a big following or a small following, or maybe you just use your YouTube channel just to vent and take the weight off your shoulders because you're having a hard time coping with what's going on. At some point, we have to turn it off a little bit. We have to turn it off a little bit so we can breathe and stay in tune with what's happening, but don't get so saturated in it. You can get saturated in it in a positive way by saying to yourself, I'm going to remain positive. I want to share what I know and share what I discovered with my friends and family, so we can all prepare for a bumpy ride. Okay? A lot of people are scared right now. Okay? We have a lot of minority groups who are scared, who are being attacked, who don't know who to turn to. Okay? For those people, including myself, is try to connect in a positive way, like in a support network. Okay? Like I said in my last couple of videos, that I think this year what I'm going to do is I'm going to get involved in those protests happening in those states so I could coordinate my vacation schedule where I can get in my car and go. If I have to carry a sign to show my support, I will do that, because every one of us can make a difference. We can call our state senators, we can call our state representatives, we can email our Congress people and tell them that you are not happy with the way things have been happening. You can tell them a short story about how what's happening is impacting your life and your family's life. Listen, most of us have mortgages. Most of us have medical bills. Most of us have children in school. All of us have to put food on our table, a roof on our head, and all of us want to keep our jobs. I feel bad for all those hundreds of thousands of jobs that were eliminated in such a short time. And in every single department, agency of our country, whether it's the FDA, whether it's the health department or the educational department, whether it's Social Security, whether it's Medicare, have been impacted, and they're going straight for the jugular, and they want to make sure that they're going to get to a level where they're going to start rebuilding it their way. Okay, so in other words, they're getting it so they can be in total control. And it looks like it's going to be a control of one person, Donald Trump. Because before his cabinet was put together, he kind of like made them take an oath that they will obey. They will do what Donald Trump tells them. And that's not really that's not the way it works. That's not how the government works. Because usually in the past, it was from responsible people that had immense experience with government stuff, okay, or government agencies, okay? You don't see that right now, and you don't see it. These people in their cabinet, to me, they look like they're scared. They're doing exactly what Donald Trump wants. And also, I think when they were given these positions and they accepted it, they probably must have saw maybe that their career wasn't going anywhere. Maybe Mark Rubio says, hey, I was a senator in Florida or a representative in Florida. I've been doing this for so many years. I don't think my path was going to go as fast as I wanted to. This is my chance to be ambassador or whatever his position is, okay? State secretary or whatever. And he probably saw it as an opportunity. Even if he had to go ahead and go against his deep belief of what he said about Donald Trump in the beginning when he was going to run in Donald Trump's first presidency. He said some bad things about Donald Trump. Okay? He said that he was not fit for the job. He was right. But look at him today. He's one of Trump's cabinet members. And if you look at him, they all did that. Some of them didn't have government positions, like Pete Hegseth. He was working at Fox, for God's sakes. And from what I heard, I didn't see it firsthand. From what I heard was that he liked the way Pete Hegseth talked. So he hired him for the job of the department head of our defense. Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy. But there you have it. So I'm going to go back to what I said before I came into this new conversation about the people in this cabinet was, it's okay to get involved and discuss all these things, but sometimes we can go a little deep. I know I go very deep, and I kind of I express my frustration because I am frustrated. I'm very frustrated. I'm saddened, most of all. I'm saddened. But if we let these feelings affect us, it starts to affect us physically and mentally. And before you know it, 24/7, that's the only thing on our mind. While we stay in touch with it and not ignore it, we have to have and live healthy lifestyles. Because negative thoughts about these negative things that's happening can affect us. So we have to keep a balance, and we have to know that there are people representing us right now in Congress, right now in our government, in the House of Representatives and in Congress. People are fighting. The Democrats are fighting to come down with some resolution that they feel that the Republicans can see eye to eye on. That's a very iffy thing because they hold the seats in the House of Representatives, they hold the House in the Senate, and they have the White House. Okay? So the other place that this can go to is Congress, because they have the power of the purse on many things that's being eliminated, like the programs that's being eliminated from taking part in. So what we can do is know that these people are fighting hard, try to get America back to the way it was. Even though Republicans believe that it wasn't in a good place, that there's a lot of commingling going on, a lot of funny business going on in our Social Security and all these programs we have. There's corruption, how we're paying from our Social Security department to people who were 150 to 300 years old. And to me, it's like they said that was just a reason to pilferage all that money that's there. And I do believe that now that they have control of everything, that's what they're going to do with Doge. Bunch of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and 20-year-olds with no experience as to how these softwares and all these switches, on and off switches, and payment systems to different people and organizations and these countries who we're supporting with famine and hunger and diseases and researches, all kinds of stuff, that they're going to discombobulate everything, that in the next 3 months, we're going to see these things affect those people who's collecting Social Security and health care. It's all going to be affected. Okay? I'm set to retire at 67. I don't know how much I'm going to get now. I had an idea, but now I don't know. Like many millions of people. Or like the 80 million people that's going to be affected after 3 months. Will they get something? I'm sure they'll get something, but it might not be what they were hoping or what they knew they were going to get. That's the problem. These are the things that's making people angry. You got Doge going into their personal affairs, checking out their personal records like never before. In 85 years, Social Security has been paid out flawlessly to its people, and it had an oversight. Now there's no oversight. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But this here is an example of how we can get when we are fearful, when we are nervous, because of what? The unknown. Okay? And sometimes we just have to shut off a little bit and recollect ourselves and just to calm down and then connect and disconnect. We have to be able to connect and disconnect so we can have a balanced life so we don't get sick. We don't get sick. Sometimes just shut the TV off and then next day on a managed time level, check out, see what's going on and shut it off again. People like me, I get deep and I watch and I watch and I watch and I watch and I let it get in my mind. It starts going like this. We don't want to be affected by negative stuff. People have been working all their lives and they've been paying into the system and they expect to get what's coming back to them. And we don't want to settle. We don't want to settle. So anyways, I have said enough, and I think I've connected here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect for a little bit and then reconnect. Disconnect, reconnect. Because if you go full head out 100% on this, that means you're missing out on your life. Okay? Just know that as long as you support your cause, whatever that is, you're doing good. So anyways, I'll leave it off with that, and I'll be talking to you guys soon.
You've got to tell me what's going on.
It's nothing, Arthur, honest.
Look, Connie, I haven't pressed you about this thing. I figured you'd tell me at the right time.